Hi everyone, my name is Alessa Becerra and my colleague Danny Oliveira and myself created this presentation for all of you, and it's on establishing rapport and motivating mentees. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Alrighty, so we have two learning objectives. The first one is that we hope by the end of this presentation, you will be able to identify 3 strategies to build rapport and connect with your mentees. The second objective is that mentors will identify 3 strategies to motivate and encourage mentees. So first, you want to ask yourself, what is rapport? So rapport is a connection or relationship with another individual, often considered as a state of amicable understanding with another person or group. The process of building rapport is developing a connection with someone else. So in other words, it's being able to develop that connection with someone and being able to understand each other's feelings or ideas. So why is building rapport important? So mentoring relationships are definitely easier to create and blossom when there is some type of connection and understanding between the mentor and the mentee. For example, maybe both of you are first generation, the first one in your family to attend college. So there's a connection by both of you being first gen. Or maybe you both are in the same major or share same hobbies and interests or share the same career goals. And we also know that creating rapport in the early stages of your relationship will definitely aid in building that trust and respect. And it will also allow the mentor to introduce goals with their mentee once they feel that they've established that relationship and connection with them. Alrighty. So we want to share with you some strategies on how to build rapport with your mentees. And the first one is being able to commit to their relationship. And what we mean by that is being able to understand the time and the energy and the commitment to the mentor-mentee relationship. You know, the first weeks and months, your mentee will be testing you to ensure that they can trust and rely on you. So, for example, you want to make sure that you're prepared for your mentoring session, that you're also early and consistent to these sessions, because some of these mentees may have been disappointed by people they look up to. So, this is why consistency helps students build trust. The second item is being able to listen. It can definitely be tempting to provide your mentee full of advice and solutions, but you will have a better outcome if you allow yourself to just hear what they have to say. There is a presentation on question and listening skills, so I recommend for you to all watch that because it talks more about active listening. The other item is being on their side. So your mentee will slowly start opening up to you, and you may not approve of everything they do or say, but you want to be prepared to listen and validate their experiences. For example, you want to invite your mentee to share their aspirations and goals rather than telling them what to do. And then the last item on this slide is letting them make their own choices. You want to allow the mentees to voice their opinions and share their decision making on the activities you will do together. This lets the mentee know that you value and trust their opinion and feedback. You want to invite them to help decide what the activities or topics, and this will also help you as the mentor to understand what they like, what they want to learn, and any concerns they may have. For example, if one of the topics you're required to cover with them is on financial aid, if you do let them know beforehand, that may your mentee might be able to share some questions that they have, and this will also help them make them feel more confident in the relationship because it lets them know that they have some control because you're asking them for their feedback and their opinions. Alrighty. The next one is being positive. As a mentor, you can empower your mentee by acknowledging their strengths and abilities and talents. consistent and genuine messages will encourage them to achieve their full potential. And then the number 6 is being able to model respect. So what we mean by that is that you want to gain your mentees' respect and trust, but you need to show that you have respect for them and you understand their needs. One way of doing that is, for example, when they open up to you, you're showing respect by listening. You want to check your body language, your eye contact, that, you want to make sure you're mentally and physically present. And you also want to avoid judgment and keep their information confidential. Of course, you are still mandated reporter, but you still want to, respect their confidentiality. Next is, you want to set realistic goals and expectations. So once you and your mentee feel that you have developed a trusting relationship, you can definitely initiate that conversation about goals that your mentee would like to achieve. So you want to help your mentee identify and set appropriate and achievable short-term goals, and discuss the steps that they need to be taken for the goals to be achieved. So we will definitely talk more about goals in the next few slides, and also how this helps with motivation, which is another item we'll talk about. And then the last item is being able to take responsibility for the relationship. So even though your mentor and mentee relationship is a two-way street, you will need to take the lead in building a positive, lasting relationship with your mentee. For example, making and maintaining contact, while you may not get a positive reinforcement from your mentee, you want to remind them that you care for their relationship and that they matter. Alrighty, so moving on to the mentoring relationship and motivation. So you want to influence and inspire the mentees to become strong, motivated, confident. And part of your role is inspiring your mentee to reach their fullest potential and be able to challenge them to step out of their comfort zone. And understanding the factors that help to stimulate and maintain motivation, will influence the way in which you approach your mentoring. So one way of doing that is looking at it through the ARCS model of learning motivation. ARCS stands for attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction. So you definitely, you want to spark mentees' curiosity to get their attention, and they need to recognize the relevance of the situation to help them achieve their goals. They also need to feel confident that the required learning task is achievable and possible. And lastly, they must feel the satisfaction that it will result because personal incentives and goals will be met. So let's talk about the first letter in the of ARCS, which is attention. One way of doing that is through time management. You want to you want to talk about why time management is important, and maybe there are skills that you personally have developed on time management that you can share with them. But being able to consistently invest in study time, it will help with their focus attention. This will also develop, it will help them develop and establish a daily or a weekly study routine, because again, there's a consistency. And a way of doing that is by being able to invest time in accomplishing necessary tasks or benchmarks. And then the next one we have is curiosity. You want to express your curiosity in the mentee's goals and academic journey. You want to ask about accomplishing tasks that lead to the larger goals. You want to ask, one way is also asking them, what kind of people do they need in their support system to achieve their future goals? Who are their biggest motivators? Sustaining their own imagination and curiosity in their learning and development is important. If we go to the next slide, we have relevance. With relevance, you want to recognize the relevance of mentees' education and academic journey in achieving their long-term goals. You want to remind them that there's a purpose in what they are doing now to prepare for their future. One way of doing that is you want to ask them maybe, what do you aspire to do with your SDSU degree? Or what do you hope for yourself, your family, or your community? And this goes with self-reflection on the relevance of accomplishing small tasks, again, to accomplish their larger goals. So definitely being able to help your mentee breaking down those goals into necessary tasks to reach the larger goal. Then the next letter is C, which stands for confidence. Confidence is perceived as involving some level of success. You want your mentee to reflect on past success to inspire that confidence and motivation now that they are in a new environment. You want them to recognize the achievement of small tasks as positive steps towards their goals. And one way of doing that is, asking them, what challenges have you overcome to be where you are today? Mentees do have that control of how they invest their time and energy towards attaining their goals. However, we do recognize that sometimes that can come with some feelings of imposter syndrome. And if you have never heard this term, imposter syndrome is a self-fulfilling pattern of thought in which maybe you consider yourself to be a fraud. You doubt your own intelligence and talents. And, that's something that I myself experienced when I first started college. And maybe this resonates with you. So, often if you're telling maybe your mentee, you got this, you will, by the end of the semester, you will get good grades, you'll do awesome. They might be thinking, oh, you're just saying that because you're my mentor, or you're just being nice. But, they might feel like they don't, that you're just saying that to be nice, and they might not believe it themselves. But you want to remind your mentees that they are here for a reason, and that they bring capital to this campus. And by capital, I mean, a set of skills and knowledge. For example, maybe they speak another language, and that's capital, because they're able to communicate in two different languages. You want to also make sure, you want to recognize that, or, acknowledge your mentee that, they have been able to navigate unfamiliar situations to get where they are now at SDSU. And maybe one of them was filling out a FAFSA for the first time, that maybe they didn't have that support from someone. So, that is, again, building that capital and having those skills that even though they didn't know how to do it, they still managed to get it done. And it was maybe by someone supporting them or them doing it on their own. So yes, again, you want to be able to, if they express these imposter syndrome feelings, you want to be able to acknowledge their feelings, and encouraging them to talk to others, right? As they, they're building this community at SDSU, be able to talk to faculty, to staff, to their advisors. We are here to support them. And being able for them, again, this goes back to acknowledging their strengths, their capital, their skills. Maybe they're paying it forward because, their family has worked really hard or has sacrificed a lot to get where they're at, right, where they are right now. So, we definitely want to recognize your mentees' strengths and skills that they bring into the campus. So yes, again, you want to be able to acknowledge, their successes, and, and being in that will help them, again, with building that confidence. So next we have the last letter of ARCS, which is satisfaction. Um, so again, similar to what I was just sharing, you know, um, the achievement of tasks toward fulfilling their goals, it brings a level of satisfaction and it builds confidence. So again, you want to recognize and celebrate small wins. And that goes a long way to their end goal. So for example, if one of your mentees goals was to get an A in Econ 101, and they share with you that they got a B plus or an A minus on their test, you want to celebrate that because again, they're working towards their goals, right? And maybe one of the items that they did to obtain that grade in their test was by studying, going to professor's office hours, by going to tutoring. So definitely that sense of satisfaction is a reinforcement of confidence. So this goes with, helping them develop those checklists of tasks toward their goal accomplishment. Like I said, maybe, and for them to have obtained that grade on their test, maybe um, they attended the professor's office hours, they went to tutoring, they did a study group, and it's also satisfying to be able to check off those tasks. It develops that self-confidence, like, oh yes, I got this done, and this is working towards my goals. um, so yes, definitely success builds motivation, and continued success. Um, by them accomplishing these goals that they have set, it builds that motivation, and they want to continue to their long-term goal, and it's by graduating as CSU. Alrighty, so this is all I have. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for your time.